Welcome back, my creative friends. It's me, Susanna Baker, presenting Wynwood Magazine Podcast. Welcome to Wynwood Magazine Podcast, where we bring you the raw, unfiltered innovators and visionaries and our cultural architects that shape our world. Normally this conversation happens in the kaleidoscope streets of Miami, where we're talking to artists and visionaries there. Today we decided to travel a little bit further south, and we decided to come to the pure heart, the luxurious Caribbean. And we are sitting here at Spice Island Beach Resort, and I am honored to be speaking to this wonderful young entrepreneur coming from multi-generational hotelier family. And she is following the vision of her late father, Sir Royston Hopkins, and she is the managing director and president of Spice Island Beach Resort. Welcome.
Thank you, Susanna, and it's an absolute honor to be here with you and to have you. Welcome to the Spice family, I like to say.
Thank you.
I grew up in the hotel industry, studied hospitality in Switzerland, graduated in 2006, returned home, and been sort of working my way up since 2006. Started as a management trainee, worked my way up, and in 2015 my father named me his successor. So unfortunately when he passed away in 2020, everyone knew, that I would be taking over the reins. I grew up in a hotel, and my father also grew up in a hotel, so I'm a third generation hotelier. He grew up in a 12-bedroom hotel very nearby where his father ran the hotel and his mom did all the cooking. So it's in my blood and I studied it, I like to say.
I love that. And I wanted to say, walking into this, it's so understated, the elegance.
Yeah.
And it's so peaceful and tranquil. I, when I decided to let's do something exciting and different, because our readership has discriminating taste in travel. And I asked our dear friend, Kobe Carr, if he could, suggest something that is not as far as last year when we covered Africa.
Okay.
Can he do something closer where someone can take a direct flight from Miami and 3 hours later just get to a beautiful resort? And he mentioned Spice Island Beach Resort. And I had just heard about Spice Island Beach Resort from Bravo, who had a whole series on Spice Island Beach Resort, and I thought that was exciting. Yeah. I do tend to relax watching Bravo, and I had to say that when I entered the resort, the way it's designed, and that's my question to you, because you follow your father's legacy and his vision, but how do you modernize it and add your philosophy while still carrying the great celebrated stewardship of your family's legacy?
Well, I think, it really starts with people. People are at the center. My father started this with hospitality, and to us hospitality is not a job, it's a lifestyle. And it starts with sincerity and warmth, which is ultimately family. That's how his belief started, and over the years we've modernized, the hotel has evolved, but we remain true to one thing, and that's our people, our staff and our guests. And our heritage, my heritage, it's not about longevity, it's about really carrying forward a service philosophy, which I say is deeply personal and authentically Caribbean. So no matter what happens, and I always say to people, he was my father, I miss him daily, but his vision is very much what my vision still is, which is two things, two beliefs, that people are still looking for an unspoiled, understated, elegant beach vacation. That to me still sells. Absolutely. And it's all down to the personal touches. These are our two pillars, so it doesn't matter how you modernize your rooms, it doesn't matter how you change your service standards. At the end of the day, it's your personalization, your authentic Caribbean, Grenadian beach vacation, and it's really down to the small touches, basically.
And I have to say, the hotel, the resort, has changed in 2023. Now, you took over the reins of this leadership in a really challenging time. I mean, during COVID and right after COVID,
So my father,
the whole industry changed.
He would have passed in 2020 February, and COVID was March 2020.
Right, and then you were already the successor, named in 2015 as the managing director, and he already let everybody know you would be the successor, and that you would be able to bring his vision to the future.
Absolutely.
And not only to Grenada, but to the world.
Absolutely.
It was one of his words that he said in 2015 to you.
Absolutely.
And I thought, wow, you know, what an amazing father, what an amazing visionary, and what an amazing Grenadian.
Yes.
I mean, when he took the 12-room hotel, everybody thought he lost his marbles because it was a rundown hotel on the beach.
It was on the beach. It was actually 21 rooms on the beach. It was actually the property he grew up in wasn't this one. It was nearby.
Yeah.
So he had his eyes on this one. It had 21 rooms at the time, and we have now developed into 64 rooms, world-class AAA Five Diamond resort. And over the years, he's added to it. We went to Kobe Carp, which is a Miami-based designer.
Yes.
And when you say authentically Caribbean, Kobe did the first 2004-2005 renovation. And I think he's done 4 renovations for us. When I took over, obviously it was COVID, the world shut down, there wasn't much to be done. But by 2022, I called Kobe and I said, it's time to put my touch on the hotel. It's time to give it a refresh. Obviously with hotels, every 6 to 7 years, you have to. I knew I called the right person because no matter what, he gave us and he maintained the Caribbean chic. You went to this hotel and you know that you're in Grenada, you feel it, you sense it, you see the ocean. So we've modernized certain things, but we've kept it Caribbean, and that's the key to having someone like Kobe Carp Design and Architecture to understand the client and understand what the client wants, because we're in a world where all hotels are becoming very modern, very chic. To us, that's not what luxury is. To me, luxury is comfort and it's connection. It's not about excess, and Kobe Carp Architecture and Kobe himself, who flies down personally all the time, anytime there's a spice issue, he understood that, and he continues to understand that, and that's why we are where we are today. Because at the end of the day, luxury, it's about the people. It's about the feeling that you get when you're at a resort, the connection that you have to the employees, to the food, to the destination. It rings through. And to me, having a sense of place is very, very important. One has to know what island they're in based on the food, the people, the spaces that they're in. They have to, you could be anywhere in the world in a lot of hotels these days. But to me, as a hotelier, you have to also appreciate the island and experience the island. And I think through Kobe Carp, we've been able to manifest that.
I think you've been able to manifest that for several, decades, but definitely what you've done in the last 4 or 5 years has been amazing. And to bring it from 21 rooms now to 64 rooms, and so well planned, because you have a set of beautiful rooms with the sea grape trees, with the beachfront property only 15 feet away, not even. And then you have on the other side, on the west side, you have these beautiful royal suites, mini suites that have private pools, and really a sense of privacy that I have not seen anywhere. And it really is well designed. And one of the things that captured me, which I've never really seen, is your 6 diamond.
Yes.
The American Hospitality of Science gave Spice Island Beach Resort 6 diamond, and that's 2025. And I've never really seen a 6 diamond resort. So to be in such a place that is so understated, but at the moment you touch it's flooring, you could sense that peaceful tranquility, that unmatched beach,
Yes.
you know, being right on the legendary Grand Anse Beach is
25 feet
amazing.
from the water's edge.
25 feet.
Yeah.
And to see the cliffs and the beautiful homes in that Grenadian, there's no doubt that you're in Grenada.
Yeah.
And I love also that it's a 100% black owned hotel that brings excellence. So how would you describe to a young entrepreneur, or you know, you set yourself in a global landscape that's very unique position to you, black excellence of hospitality. How would you define that, and how would you say that the black excellence of hospitality, curating that experience to your visitors?
Well, to be honest, I like to say that it's more so not really about black excellence, but it's about Grenadian excellence. To have a local entrepreneur, to have a local family, to have achieved what we have achieved, rivaling world-class hotel chains around the world, that shows the young people of Grenada and in the region that you can do it. So to me, what's more important is that we're locally owned, fully operated, and fully locally staffed, from the head chef, 100% all Grenadians. To me, that is where the stickler is, and it says to people, to young Grenadians, to young people in the region, with an industry where unfortunately persons still see it as a service sort of oriented industry, where parents in the region and in Grenada still don't encourage their kids to study hospitality, because the thought is basically you don't want to have to serve people all day. So I think my story, my father's story, is really inspirational, and it would touch a lot of the young people, because we're in the Caribbean. Tourism is our bread and butter, so we need to encourage the young people to do that. So I think it's more so to stress on the fact that it's locally owned, you know, and locally run, not owned by a corporation, not owned by a chain.
Independent.
Yes.
And that's, you know, really what I want to state. It's independent. And I'm, you know, being a woman, empowering another woman, it's wonderful. Your chef is a woman as well.
Our chef, Brenda, she's our head chef now. She's been with us, I mean, we always argue about how many years, but she's known me since I was 4, so
wow.
That says a lot. And she's worked her way up. Our front office manager, front of house manager, she's a woman. She's been with us for 21 years. She started off as a receptionist. Our executive housekeeper, she's a woman. So yes, it is quite a unique position to be in, but throughout the region and throughout Grenada, Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, you have had women at the head. But for me personally, it's great to see that most of the departments in the hotel are managed by a woman.
Yeah, which is fabulous. And I also was reading, and I was going to ask you, how did you, sustainability is a big thing, especially to the young generations and travelers coming, and I know you like to focus your attention also to the now consumer, the one that's highly mobile and connected to luxury travel, and so you have the core of running your model with, you know, authenticity, like you said, curating cultural experiences, innovation, and the sustainability of becoming a green certified hotel. How did you, when did you decide? And to me, I found out when I did a tour yesterday. I was taken by a tour guide, Mandu, wonderful, and I experienced Grenada, and I saw some of the experience, and I went to the fort and the rainforest and the waterfalls, beautiful. And I found out that a lot of the electricity on the island is run by diesel. And I said, well, Spice Island, that would be so expensive. And so I researched that your father had started to put solar panels.
Yeah, we were one of the first Green Globe certified hotels. I think it's been over 14 years. It's a tough balance with luxury and sustainability. So back in the day, we did everything. So you had your air conditions on timers, but that didn't go down well because you have a resort with this caliber of guests. You leave your room, the AC goes off, you come back, and it takes a couple minutes. You know, the showers, we had them on these control the water pressure. So we had lots of complaints. We had to find our niche and our way to support and sustain, without cutting back on luxury. So we have found our happy medium. And to be honest, I think that should no longer be a differentiator anymore. I think it's something that all resorts, all businesses, all hotels should do. And there, we have a garden at the back, we have our compost heap. There's so many varying things that we do, little things that you do. But for a luxury 5-star hotel, it's a little difficult to really 150% cut back.
Right.
We buy all of our fruits and veg from the local farmers.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. You have a strong commitment to community engagement.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I have been staying here for a few days, and I have to tell you, the cuisine has been phenomenal. And I was going to ask you, how do you curate your experience to have this, understated elegance, and then bringing in the flavors of Grenada onto the table? And every evening, I do know I am in Grenada.
Yes, great.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Simple detail, which was ordering ice cream.
Right.
Every day there's another flavor or two flavors that represent fruits that are found in local markets, seasonal to Grenada.
And it started with my grandmother. She was a pioneer in her day in the 60s for taking international recipes and using local bread nut and things like avocado ice cream. She was one of the first in those days to create something like avocado ice cream. A lot of our recipes are actually on the menu that have been handed down from her. But just like her, just like my father, I believe that when you're in Grenada, you should not need to have blueberries, strawberries, apples. The fruits that are on our buffet, on our breakfast menu, all local fruits. The flavors of our ice creams, we only have chocolate and vanilla for kids. So you would have, local cocoa tea ice cream, and we even make sweet potato ice cream. So for me, again, it goes back to a sense of place and that feeling that you have to understand where you are. You have to taste the island, you have to experience the island. We support the community where we buy all of our fruits and veg from local farmers. Fishermen, we buy the fish and we fillet it ourselves. So we make everything 100% from the loaves of bread to the croissants. Everything is made in-house. And we actually do buy quite a lot of our fruits and veg from our employees themselves. After COVID, most of them now have small gardens. So you buy cucumbers from them,
awesome.
You buy lettuce from them, and we give them first preference before we go out to the farmers as well.
That's amazing. I love that. I mean, you have really covered all areas. And what do you feel that when a visitor comes and then travels out to see Grenada, what is one of the misconceptions that people may have of Grenada?
Well, I think we're pretty honest in our marketing. So I would have to say I don't know if there would be a misconception, but I understand what you're saying. And I think people arrive expecting an understated beach vacation, a quiet, relaxing vacation. I think after a few days, they would have realized that there's such a rich culture and heritage, that there's so many layers to peel off when you meet Grenadians. And I think the people are the key to it all. So I think they come expecting a vacation, a relaxing beach vacation, and they leave having connected, whether it's a sense of peace, inspiration, a sense of place. They leave with that lingering feeling, which makes me quite happy, where they get home and they miss Grenada. They feel like Grenada is their home. They're unpacking their suitcase, but they're still thinking about Grenada. So I think it's the vibe of the people, the culture, and generally Grenadians are absolutely some of the friendliest people.
Absolutely.
So you leave with more than just the sand and the sea and the beach, which is what most islands offer. We're on a public beach right now, and as you've noticed, you see kids playing football, you have families playing, picnic. All the beaches are public. We don't lock off anyone. So it allows our tourists and our customers to engage with the local Grenadians.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
To me, it's a matter of really and truly they're shocked by that vibe, by that culture that they feel and when they connect and they meet the Grenadians.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Some of the friendliest people.
I think so.
And I wanted to ask you, being brought up in this resort and with a family of hoteliers, you must have some amazing memories. Mm-hmm. What would be one of your that stand out to you memories of being brought
I think it's the same life that my son is going through now. I have a 7.5-year-old, and he literally grows up in the hotel. I remember vividly, my mom worked at the hotel as well, so after school I would come to the hotel, I would sit at the bar, I would have a fruit punch, I would do my homework, the bartenders would help me with my homework. I remember vividly sitting at the front desk on the lap when I was 4 or 5 years old of some of the girls at reception. I remember the chef coming to walk me to the kitchen to spoil me with ice cream. It's the same lifestyle that my son is growing up. But what I vividly actually remember as I was getting older, my father entertained quite a lot, guest cocktail parties, travel agents, so he was always entertaining, and he never liked to leave me home. So whenever he was taking my mom, he would bring me to dinner, and I would just sit and look at him at a young age, look at how he, engaged the guests and what he did, and I always looked up to him as a young kid. Sat at that dining room table. Back then there were no iPads, there were no phones, there was nothing. Right. I don't know how I did it at that age, but I mean, those are some of my childhood memories, just sitting in this resort, looking around, looking at him do his thing basically, and just being loved by a village and being brought up by a village. We have 220 staff. My son is going through the same thing.
Awesome.
When I travel for business, there's a whole schedule around his schedule. The guys at the front pick him up from school. They have, his menu for lunch. Someone helps him with homework, and so I have a village for him the same way I had a village. Yeah.
That's an amazing story, I have to tell you. And when I walked in and I checked into the reception area, everybody's so friendly. And as I'm here in the past few days, I hear people work here for decades, a long time. I had a young model who was so kind from the resort, and Kino, wonderful guy.
He's quite new, actually, one of our babies.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what he said. He said, I'm only here 3 years. I said, well, it must be difficult. He goes, it is, because people are here for 14, 18 years and longer. And that's such a good sign when you have your staff around. Everybody is smiling when the boss's name comes up. There's a smile and a beam in their eyes. It's not like, they get serious and military
to the culture
style.
Of people. It's not just about your customers, it's about your team, your staff, and you make them feel a part of the family. You encourage them to get involved in the decision making. We do activities with their families, like Easter, Christmas, where we bring their kids and their families on property to engage with our guests, and so you keep them involved, and you make them happy. You show them love, and they show your customers
they
love.
feel that they are part of the experience.
I
mean, the whole experience is it's the sum of the parts that equal the whole.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you can't do this without that village behind you.
You can't do it without it. You can have the best Kobe Cop design hotel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it would not be Spice without the 220, I call them my 220 kids.
Yeah, 220 kids, absolutely. And a great general can be destroyed by its soldiers. If they don't like the work or their boss, it's a simple bartender, simple
if they're not marching behind me, if they don't understand
and all
the
of a sudden
vision,
you have the complaints and not a good experience, and you don't have that. In these 5 days that I've been here, every day becomes like you don't want to go.
Well,
and if you do
fantastic.
go, you come back.
Yes.
You want to. I'm sure you have a lot of repeat
We do have a lot of repeaters.
And talk about guests. I mean, I don't know. I was quite impressed that in 2019, Queen Camilla and King Charles III were guests here.
We, if it's one thing we know how to do is deal with royalty and diplomats, and it just goes back to the service culture.
The service culture.
And they feel at home. They repeatedly have visited us. My father obviously was knighted by the Queen, so I mean,
that's amazing.
That was something in 2005. Yeah,
he got knighted.
He was knighted for his contribution to Grenada and the region for tourism. Nothing to do with the hotel. Just his belief and passion and love for Grenada is basically what he was knighted for. Because he did, to make Spice work, Grenada has to work.
Yes.
You've got to love the island, and he was absolutely passionate about Grenada.
And that is amazing, and it's now in your hands.
Yeah.
You're doing phenomenal.
Thank you.
And that's 6 Diamond. That's you.
Yeah, we just found out
You and
yesterday
your
we actually
220 kids.
received a Michelin key. The Michelin is now rating hotels, so we found out that yesterday.
Oh my God, that's
we had no
awesome.
idea we were inspected,
Congratulations.
but for the team, I think everyone is.
Oh my
absolutely
God,
excited.
what a great note
That's
to
a big
end
one.
it.
That's
So
a big one.
my last question to you to wrap up this amazing interview and sitting in this amazing setting, what would you tell the young 18-year-old Janelle if you could go back in time? What advice would you give her? Anything different?
Nothing. I would say, I would honestly say, I did it the way that it should have been. I feel like I lived life. I went to school. I went through the correct phases. I took over the resort at a younger age than I expected, at 35. But I mean, it all worked out. The one thing, a lot of people families who own businesses, parents who own business, want their kids to be in the business because obviously they've invested. But my one thing is to do exactly what my father did. After high school, he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to be like you." And he said, "No, you have to be absolutely sure." So he made me work for a year in the hotel at the age of 16, went through all the departments, housekeeping, kitchen, front office. And at the end of it, he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I love it. I still want to do it." So I think that was for him. I thank him up to this day, because I may have done it because I see my father doing it, and I may have ended up doing something that I didn't enjoy, basically.
Right.
But honestly, no, I don't have any advice.
There wasn't pressure,
yeah.
but there was guidance.
Yes,
But you ultimately had to make the decision.
I had to make the decision.
And I think that's a great way and a great philosophy. And you are bringing that philosophy to Royston Jr.?
Exactly, Royston.
Royston, that's awesome. So I have to thank you again.
Thank you,
And
Susanna.
to our viewers, you want to come to Spice Island Beach Resort.
Absolutely.
It is amazing.
Absolutely.
And if you were to sum up the experience as a guest, I can sum up the experience as a guest just saying spectacular.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely spectacular.
Absolutely.
I mean, I send a picture of my porterhouse steak to my son, and my son texted me back and says, "Wow, they're treating you like royalty." And I didn't text him back saying, "Hey, I'm in the room that Queen Camilla stood and King Charles." But this is, everyone's treated like royalty.
Appreciate that.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate your 220 or 21, is it?
Well, 220 and then Royston. So.
Oh, okay, 220 and a half.
And a half.
And a half kids
And a half,
that I look forward to following up the legacy. And where do you see the future? Where would you see and want the future for Spice Island Beach Resort 5 years from now?
It's a good question. Definitely not adding any more rooms, just to continue to redefine physically what we have, so to take what Kobe and I started and to move into all the other areas of the hotel, and to just keep evolving, because as much as we have repeat clientele and as much as we are that understated beach vacation, we appeal to everyone. And a lot of people say, "Who are your customers?" Everyone. Everyone has to feel that warmth. Everyone has to feel welcome. It doesn't matter your sexual orientation, your race. So to keep modernizing and to be able to appeal to the traveler of today and tomorrow, but to hone in on the fact that with everything that we do, the bespoke experiences and the location, to basically hone into the fact that it will be shaped by local Grenadian culture. And that's the key.
I love that.
That's the key.
I love that. So with that, we'll see you back next week, Wynwood Magazine podcast, and you definitely want to pick up the issue, Art Basel and Miami Art Week 2025, to read up on this beautiful resort, Spice Island Beach Resort.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Great.